Dude, you know the first time I saw you, I went to school at University of California at Santa Barbara. I grew up here in New York, but I went to school at UCSB. And I managed a restaurant called Bricks Cafe. And once a week, there was a comedy night.
Yes.
Do you remember?
I didn't know that you managed a joint, though. There was a comedy in I think it was like a small crate in the corner. Let me see if I got the right restaurant. You walk in.
Yeah, this is great.
And wasn't it to the left?
And there's a full window.
Yeah.
So people can see from the outside.
Okay, you managed that place?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Into the ground.
Into the ground.
Right into the ground.
Two restaurants into the ground. I've managed 2 restaurants, both out of business.
Did you start the comedy night there?
No, it was Andre Belikoff's.
He wasn't even a comic.
Yeah, the comedy night started.
Oh, you weren't?
I was literally. I was just a fan of comedy. Like I watched it growing up, and it was just random that I was working at this restaurant, and then this guy opened another one, and he was dumb enough to like let me manage it. Like I wrote him a manual. I was like, "This is what I think you should do," and like gave it to him. And he was this Argentine guy, and he was like, "I think this guy's good." I think no, wasn't good. But I remember you coming there. There was a bunch of people that came up. Like Tig came up. I think Brett Ernst, you came up. I remember you doing the Ross bit.
Oh my God, dude.
And which is like iconic bit.
It's hard to do the Ross bit in there.
Say again?
It's hard to do that.
It's hard to do the Ross.
You almost fell off the stage.
I had no room.
Shirt didn't go far. The shirt went like 20 feet. But it was like, I remember watching it, and you know, you're not like a talent scout at the time, but I'm just like, holy shit, like this is something different. The energy is something different going on here.
Wow.
And then you really fucking exploded, huh? Fucking heck.
From that restaurant, career.
I was trying to think this. Like,
wait, real quick, my first story also it was 2007. I just started comedy in LA. And we go watch, there's the 3 major clubs had their black night. Comedy Stores was tripping on Tuesday, which wasn't the roughest room, but it's like, it can be choppy. Sebastian goes on stage. I'm watching this white dude goes on, it's dead. He lets the silence sit for like 10, 15 seconds. This white dude, all black room. And then then one girl woos. And he just goes, no, I like that. Confidence. And then the confidence he had, I swear to you, I don't think to this day I've ever seen a comic level a room like that.
I think you're talking about Kramer at the Laugh
No, dude. Tony Roberts, who's so funny and that's such a killer host, he gets back on stage. For 3 minutes, he's laughing at Sebastian's bit. Like about the drinks with the umbrella in it. He's dying laughing, leaning over the stool like the dude I was sitting with got an umbrella in his drink. I'd never seen, and that was the first time I ever was like, oh, that's what you can do with a set. I'd been watching comedy, but that stuck with me for years.
Okay, I need to get back to like the beginning. Do you start in LA or did you start in Chicago?
I started in Los Angeles. I moved in 1998 from Chicago. I graduated Northern Illinois University. I did comedy once there for the up-and-coming, or no, it was up. It was the guy coming in to entertain the students. Whatever. It was the headliner.
College entertainment thing.
Yeah. You opened for...
I opened up for that guy. Okay. And then that's the only time I had any
Did the Frat Brothers come out?
Who?
You were in a frat, weren't you?
Yeah. At that time, my parents came.
No.
Which they were worried because I died. I died on stage that night. And they were like, this is what we're paying college for? So I moved out in 98 and I just started kicking around Los Angeles doing like open mic nights. And
so you bombed and was like, no, this is what I'm going to do?
I just knew I felt comfortable up there and this was where I should be. I was a huge fan of stand-up at a young age, and I always knew I was going to go into stand-up comedy. I just didn't know how.
Who was your guy? Who was your introduction?
I used to watch HBO, Night at the Improv, all that stuff at my cousin's house on Saturday morning because I didn't have cable. Yeah. So I used to watch all of that stuff, and I used to digest it like it was game tape. Fascinated, like, geez, how do they remember all this? This is fantastic. I want to do this. How do you even get into this? You know, my dad's a beautician, my mother's a secretary. Like, where do you even go to do this? But I just fell in love with it and then decided I was going to move out to Los Angeles in 1998 to pursue a career.
Was there one stand-up that you saw that you're like, holy... Like, I remember seeing Bernie Mac when I was younger.
Yeah.
And it didn't make me go, I want to be a stand-up comedian, but it made me go, holy shit, that's how hard you can make people laugh. Like, that was the bar. And obviously, like, Eddie, Delirious, but like, was there someone you saw?
It wasn't like a guy that came out. what I used to do is watch Johnny Carson at night, and he used to have comedians on. And I was like, oh, wow, this is great. And people come in and make people laugh. And then I started getting into it from there. I started watching George Carlin and Eddie Murphy, Don Rickles. I was a huge fan of Don Rickles. So it was a variety of different comedians that I saw over, a period of time. It wasn't one guy where I go, oh, yeah, that's the guy. It was a culmination of people.
Okay, you're just obsessed with the sport of comedy. Okay, so you go out to L.A. When I remember you doing the Vince Vaughn, what was it called?
Wild
it was like
West.
the
Wild West Comedy Show.
Is that the first break? Is that the first time where you feel like I have some traction? Or were you already like the local guy?
I was not anything. I was just doing comedy clubs, not touring at all. I was working at the Four Seasons.
job?
Yeah, I was. I worked
I thought at this point you'd already kind of like, you were like established LA, like headlining locally.
Nah.
But no day. So you had.
I'm still delivering chicken sattés to table 109 at the Four Seasons.
Okay.
When Vince Vaughn asked me to do this, I
How does Vince even find you?
At Dublin's. There was a place called Dublin's on Sunset.
They had a like a
comedy
night.
Comedy night. Tuesday night Dublin's. And it was upstairs. Timberlake used to go, Vince Vaughn. It was like a haven for celebrities at the point. Dane Cook at that time was the guy.
Yeah.
And I met him there through a comedian by the name of Ahmed.
Yeah.
And Vince and I started talking in this stairwell. He's from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. Starts talking this, that, and the other. Next thing you know, a couple months go by. And through Ahmed, asked me to come on the Vince Vaughn Wild West Comedy Show. So I had to go ask work, can I take a month off?
To be in a movie.
Because I didn't know. I wasn't getting paid a lot of money. It wasn't like something I could just lose my job. And I'm very responsible.
You know what you're doing? You're signing up at Prize Picks. Use the promo code Schulz, and they will match your initial deposit up to $100. That means you put in $100, you get $100 for free. That's all you got to do. PrizePicks.com, promo code Schulz. Let's get back to the show.
I'm very responsible.
Yeah.
Like the first thing my mother asked me when I moved out in 1998, what are you going to do for health insurance? I'm not one of these guys that just lives on people's couches.
This shit's set up.
I came out with savings, It's not like Axl Rose where he's got a guitar and some change. I came out with 10 grand. Responsible, signed a lease, and I took off work for a month, but I never went back after that. That was 2005, so 98 to 2005.
That was like a subplot in the movie, I remember, about you waiting tables, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Show dates, you know what it is. First of all, this Friday, December 8th, my first show ever in Nolans. I love New Orleans. I went there one time. Honestly, it's the most unique city in America. I am so excited to go there. I love it. Also, December 17th, 18th, 19th, you know what it is, the UK. Glasgow, I think. London, we added a second show. There's still some tickets left. In Manchester, that show is going to sell out soon if it hasn't already. Get your tickets for that. Also, January 6th, 8th, and 9th, I'm going to Oslo. Amsterdam, we added a second show. And Eindhoven. And January 18th through 20th, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. at the Improv. Those tickets will sell out too. And January 26th and 27th, Wise Guys Comedy Club in Salt Lake City. I've never been to your Mormon-ass state. I'm very excited to come. I've heard the club is amazing. So get your tickets for all those shows and more being added soon at AkashSingh.com. Now let's get back to this show.
Okay, that night that Vince is there, did you know that he's watching when you're going on, or did you already go on and then you saw him in the hallway?
I didn't know he was in the room, so I had gone on and came off.
So much better that way.
Yeah.
He was delivering the chicken sattés to him.
I had waited on Vince Vaughn, though, years before that.
Oh.
Yeah, but he didn't know that. I waited on him, I think, in 2001. But
Tip good?
Does he tip good? He didn't pay. It was the agents that was. So I pretty much know of every celebrity's tipping habits working at the Four Seasons. So.
And what do we got?
Shaq's the best.
Okay.
wow.
What does Shaq do? What does Shaq?
Shaq come in on a Sunday by himself, walk through the bar, he used to sit by himself. This is not every Sunday, but a few.
Yeah.
Order a a fruit plate.
Yeah. I like how you just protected Shaq right there.
What?
You got it. Every Sunday. Not everyone. Maybe. There might be a couple times Shaq was there.
A few times.
Right after church.
And then a little fruit plate, what else did he have? Oh, coffee. But I used to serve the coffee to him in a big cappuccino cup because it's like serving a giant, you know? Like I couldn't serve him a little teacup. I had to bring out the big cappuccino, and he would never ask for a check, just left $100 under the plate.
Every time.
Every time. And at that point, I wasn't. Felt like, hey, what's up, Shaq? I was, very professional. You had to act like, that wasn't a celebrity.
Yeah.
Hello, Mr. O'Neill. How you doing? And he was one of the best tippers there.